All right, we are on the Reasonable podcast here with Sam Elsner. How are you doing this morning?
Doing good, doing good. Here in Minnesota, south metro of Minneapolis and St. Paul, and we got some storms last night, so it's kind of nice get that fresh rain smell, and it's kind of
Oh
nice.
yeah. We got that up here too. So for those listening, we are both in Minnesota. Are you from Minnesota?
No, I'm originally from Wisconsin.
Okay. I was thinking this morning, I was like, that last name feels a little bit Wisconsin, but I'm not like that. Some people will, especially in the Midwest, will hear a last name and they will tell you what part of what state it's from.
Yeah,
And it's
it's
not
crazy.
memorization. They just like have this feeling from it, you know?
Yeah,
So
no,
I got that and I'm like, okay, cool. This is my Midwestern coming out, I guess. So yeah, we are both living in Minnesota. He, as he said, is South Metro. I am quite up north. I'm probably like 3.5 hours away from north of where Sam lives. So we got the whole state covered. So if anybody needs a creator connection, let me know. If you're on the north side, let Sam know if you're on the south side. But yeah, we got those storms last night too. And I never wake up during storms, but I happened to wake up in the middle of the night and I just saw the brightest flash of lightning.
yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's just cool. And I fell right back asleep. But yeah, those morning after the big storms are just, there's something like amazing about them, like just the subtlety
Yeah, no, for
of
sure.
life. I don't even know how
Yeah,
to explain it.
yeah, it's really simple, like the subtleties, like you mentioned, and just something that a lot of people overlook. And kind of like you last night, like you said, usually sleep through a storm or whatnot. But since I just recently moved into a new house, we don't have blinds or anything on our windows yet.
Oh, yeah.
So in our new room, like big window, and then just here I think we actually had hail last night a little bit, so it was like
Wow.
clinking against the window a little bit, and I was just like woke up and I was like, oh, geez, that's kind of cool. It's kind of
Storming.
nice, and yeah, it's storming. It's kind of nice, and then yeah, waking up in the morning, going outside, take my dog out, and it's kind of fresh rain smell in the Midwest. And if you're in the Midwest or ever come to the
Just
Midwest, you'll know what that smell is.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. But it's so funny. I never felt like I identified with like the Midwestern stereotype, and then here we are, the first like 3 minutes of recording talking about the weather.
I know, right? I know. It's
Like that's all
funny.
we talk about up here.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, it's just that important. But we can definitely get into something a little bit more interesting. I just wanted to start off with your story because I've heard tidbits of you being an athlete and then coaching, but I don't know if it's actually been filled in. And I would just love to hear what got you where you're at now and into your interests. If you could just tell whatever you want about your story.
for sure, for sure. No, my story, my lineage has been a whole hodgepodge of things where it's literally taken different turns and whatnot. But that's the beauty of a journey of a
Yeah.
lineage. You kind of follow it, and as I kind of like look back at it, it's like, oh yeah, that's kind of where some milestones happened and where I led me to here today. But like you kind of alluded to, yeah, I was an athlete, mostly track and field. I was a discus thrower. I also threw shot put and hammer in college and whatnot. I went to UW Stout, a small Division 3 school that's in Wisconsin. That's just right across the border between Wisconsin and Minnesota. Had some time where I did throw and compete at the University of Minnesota as a Golden Gopher. So I competed at the Big Ten level and was there for a little bit, then finished my career at UW Stout. So I kind of just went Stout, Minnesota, back to Stout. Finished my career there, had a pretty successful career. Two-time national champion, six-time All-American, school record holder, and had the dream of going to the Olympics. But then after I graduated and kind of moved across the border to Minnesota, back in, I believe it was what, 2018. Yeah, that's when I kind of tried to train professionally and try to pursue the Olympic dream. But then my performance really just went straight downhill. And I never knew why. I thought it was because I wasn't strong enough, I wasn't skilled enough, I didn't know enough, I didn't have a coach or anything of that sort. I just was kind of lost. But then I wasn't very into the sports performance side of things because if any of you know, like being a thrower in track and field, you spend a lot of time in the weight room in your training. And when I went to University of Minnesota, that's when I met actually my mentor at the time, that got me into strength and conditioning, sports performance. So I kind of went down that rabbit hole from, I would say, 2015 on. That's when I started sports performance, learning about that, training myself, training some different athletes at the time while I'm in college too. Then went on, you know, spent quite a bit of time at different facilities as either a director, head coach, assistant coach, or something like that, working with a bunch of different athletes from, you know, youth level, 8 years old, to the professional level of a bunch of different sports. And I kind of got out of that, or I should say, I got out of that field in 2023 because of how political it is especially here in the US, where if your team isn't performing well, or if the company doesn't align right, or a new administration or a new head coach comes in, they get rid of you instantly. And unfortunately, I was on the tail end of all of those. And I wanted some stability. I wanted to be able to, you know, eventually get financially free, just because, you know, here in the
Yeah.
States, getting a degree is not cheap. And you kind of sell your soul to the devil when you get a collegiate or a bachelor's degree or a master's degree or even a PhD or whatever. And so went into the corporate America where I got a desk job start of 2024, and just kind of went into the insurance field, desk jobs, 9 to 5, typical. Year and a half later, I was actually let go from that place because I was using artificial intelligence, AI, to help improve my position as and be able to do my job better and be able to spend more time. They got rid of that. That was kind of voodoo, no for them. And then got a new job in October, was let go at the start of May of this year because just first in, first in, last out, or first in, first out kind of thing, restructuring and all that. So that's kind of led me to here. And my creator journey really started back in June of last year, where I started writing on Substack, just kind of wanting to pursue these aspirations I wanted to do, which it was create something. Like, I've always had this gut feeling in my heart and my soul that I was like, I can actually leave something on this earth, on this timeline. I just didn't know what it was. And for me, when in June of 2025, yeah, last year, was when I kind of had that feeling of like, let's just start writing. And it was kind of actually kind of what was the catalyst to that was actually I read a Dan Co newsletter that kind of resonated with me of I think the title was you weren't born to be an NPC. And I'm a big nerd. I love video games and stuff like that. So that was kind of the big catalyst. And I was like, okay, you know what? I don't want to work a 9 to 5 where I stay there, rot, waste my time for 30 something years, and then I get to earn the right to rest and have fun and play and then all that
Yeah.
stuff. Especially when I have a daughter who's over 2 years old, and I have a son on the way of late August, early September. And so
Beautiful.
I want to be able to spend time with them. And so that's kind of like what brings me to where I am now, even though I still feel lost once in a while of like, what am I actually trying to do, like,
Yeah.
and create. But that's the beauty of it too.
Yeah, me too. I felt lost yesterday morning. Yeah. Gosh, I felt that in my whole body when you said it's like I have a wife and a daughter and son on the way, like literally from head to toe. And I was like, that's just beautiful. Because I think I really resonate with that because I saw that as a vision when I was getting into this when I was like 17, 18 years old, which is like really, really young. And I'm still only 20, but like I've held that and I love that we share that vision. And I think that kind of like what got you into that, like, oh, I can create, like, I want to leave something here for people. That was almost exactly what I was feeling, but I don't think it consciously came up as like, well, like, oh, I want to create something. But in the back of my head, even as a teenager, like 16, 17, 18 years old, like that age range I just mentioned, I was like, wow, there's got to be more to life than just this. It was like, I'm just going to school. I'm just like being asked all the time to figure out a career. Like, what are you going to do with your life? You know, what are you going to do after high school? And I was like, I don't know. Like, there's got to be more to life than just this. Because I saw what was around me and I saw people all doing the same things. And I've always been quite like contrarian. Like if I see whatever was trending, whatever was going around, I'm like, hey, I don't want that. I actively don't like this, which
Yeah.
there's been a lot of pride and judgment there. And I've learned to work alongside that rather than make that a thing of resistance and pushing away. And I think I've really incorporated that in a super powerful way now, being a creator and getting to do my own thing. And like really you can say that being a creator is just being a synthesizer of ideas and combining, connecting different ideas. So now I'm like, when I see something that I don't like or I don't agree with, I'm like, okay, great. Now instead of just judging that person, I'm like, okay, wow, this person really believes what they have to say. How can I synthesize that? How can I take this and make it my own thing? Or how can I take this and form a quality argument against this without judging, without putting that person down? And it that was a little side tangent, but it all like came from like there's got to be more to life than just this, like than just what I was seeing around me. And I noticed, I think a couple, like time and time again in your story, there was a lot of resilience and like a lot of power behind like needing to rebound between like changing schools a couple times. Do you say twice to the U of M and then back to the other school, and then changing all of these coaching jobs in different positions, and well, first trying to train for the Olympics, and then a couple different jobs, like so much resilience and rebound there. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's always being able to bounce forward.
Yeah.
And when, and not to knock on like the word resilience, I'm not the biggest fan of the word. I look more of Nassim Taleb's concept of anti-fragility, where you get better through pressure and stress. When I look at my life and all that I've gone through, it's always I've always fallen forward, and I've always gotten better with that. Yeah, I've gotten knocked down many times, but I've always kept moving forward, or not just stood up and was the same person and kept making the same mistakes. But yeah, no, that pretty much encapsulates it big time. It's being able to learn from your mistakes, learn from the scenarios, the unexpected things that happen within life, and just kind of take it, embody it, and move on and keep moving forward and growing.
What how is anti-fragility different than resilience?
So
Just me being
resilience,
curious.
yeah, no, from what Nassim Taleb says, is resilience is you are the same after you encounter any type of pressure
Oh,
or stress.
I get
Anti
it.
for Think of it like a phoenix. A phoenix dies by burning up in its ashes and it's reborn from its ashes. It's still the same phoenix.
Yes.
Anti-fragility is like a hydra in Greek mythology terms, where you cut one head off, two more grow back. That's
Okay.
how that's the difference between
That's
that.
a fantastic analogy. Like
Yeah.
resilience is just getting through it. You're like, okay,
Yep,
I'm toughen up and get through it, whatever.
yep, tough it up,
I
get through it. You're still the same person. Nothing really changes from that. And it's weird. because I've heard it throughout my entire career. You hear it on the news, you hear it on ESPN all the times, like, this person is so resilient, they just get through it. It's like, yeah, they get through it, but I think there's more to that, and they're the
Yes.
same person
Yeah.
after through that. And it's just like, yeah, you can grind through it and get through it, but also anti-fragility kind of goes towards aligns more with like what I was doing as a sports performance coach. Is like you're training your body to get better. It's like strength training. You
Yes.
lift some weights, you get stronger. You become better than what your previous state was. If I'm going to put that in layman's terms, basically. So,
So that would be, I want to make sure I'm understanding it right. So here's what I'm thinking a little bit. Like an athlete who gets injured and they just go through the recovery process and they start playing after. Or an athlete who gets injured and they learn how to, maybe it's in like the physical therapy afterward, they learn like how to recover and how this gets better. And maybe that's like a little bit of resistance training or different
yeah.
kind of mobility. And then they incorporate resistance training and mobility into
Yep.
their routine afterward. That's being anti-fragile.
Yep. Think of it like this. I hate bringing this example up, but this is the one that pops up in mind every single time when I try to explain this to some athletes or whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm not a Vikings fan by any means, but Adrian Peterson, when he was playing for the Vikings, he tore his ACL. I can't remember the year, but then the year after, he was what, 9 yards short of breaking the season rushing record. That was
Yes.
after tearing his ACL. That you come back from an injury like that and you're better than what you were before. Even
That's
though
phenomenal.
he was still a stud athlete and he was still relentless on the field. He bounced back after a
Yeah.
year of that of recovering and comes back better.
Like he could actually say like, wow, I'm glad that I had that
Yeah.
injury because I wouldn't have been this good net right now.
Yeah.
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 Is that, is anti-fragility a skill or do you think it's more something that some people just have? Is
Well,
it, do you understand what I'm asking
yeah,
there?
no, I totally get what that means. Um, in my mind, everything is a skill. Doesn't everything
You know
is a
what?
skill?
Aside from the question, that's the way to live right there.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
Everything.
nothing is something that you just have. Everything is like you
No,
could get it if you want it.
yeah, you're kind of dealt the cards that you're dealt when it comes towards genetics and DNA from when you're born and stuff like that. But like everything else is malleable and it is a skill. So like me talking to you and you having a podcast, that's a skill. Being able
Yeah.
to it's trainable. You can form it in some way, shape, or form. It's how you react and how you perceive whatever stress or pressure that you feel. And whatever action comes of that is trainable, is what determines people from being either fragile, resilient, or you could say robust in place of resilience, or anti-fragile. And it's also too, it's like being able to perceive that, acknowledge it, embody it, and actually take action to that as well. And that kind of helps determine your outlook on things and how you become better and all that. So yeah, anti-fragility is a skill that can be trained, and it's also just looking at your perspective of it and
Yeah.
all that. Some people say, when I've put in that perspective of, oh yeah, you're a phoenix if you think you're resilient. You just are the same thing whenever pressure comes, but you want to be more of a hydra. You get better when things try and kill you.
Yeah, which is super powerful. Why not get better when someone's trying to kill you? This
Yeah.
ties in. Um, we talked about it a little bit before recording, and I wanted to save it. But you mentioned that perception has been huge for you lately. Like, are you going to perceive yourself as a hydra? Are you going to choose that perception, or are you going to choose to see yourself as a phoenix?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like we kind of talked a little bit before hitting record, was something that I've dove into this realm of skill acquisition and motor learning, cognitive development, all of that stuff. And I dove into that starting in 2020 when I was still in the sports performance field because I was always having that question in my head, like, how do I bridge the gap between practice and performance? And that's where
Yeah.
I fit in. And we were, I mean, I'm kind of doing a tangent, kind of like a background on things, but like, we're usually taught how to, like, always look for direction, always, because we're taught to be told what to do. Like in school, we're taught to sit, listen, obey, and wait for feedback, whether that's a quiz or a test. And everything has to be so structured, and you have to regurgitate information to be known as smart or skillful.
Yes.
But in that realm of sports performance, you have your own systems where it's like you have a step by step periodization scheme that you have it all laid out and it's perfectly aligned. But life isn't in a vacuum or in a lab. It's reality. It's chaotic. And so this realm of skill acquisition, this framework or approach, or I like to call it a lens, is more aligned with reality. And so perception is a big thing that I've lately been diving more into and rereading my articles, literature, all of that. And it really is the breaking point for some people that can either ship them into a place of getting the desired reality that they want or living the same life that they want. And also it could be tied into the creator economy, which you and I both are in, like whether something is pulling at us to write about, create something about, or take it or perceive an opportunity that comes up for us, or something that we see that might need to be filled, a gap that needs to be filled. Really, perception is kind of like a thing that gets overlooked
Yeah.
on a lot of things because people are told, oh, you need to do more, you need to accumulate more or something like that. But that's not the case. It's everything that's in front of you right now is already enough for you to achieve what you want to achieve in this life.
Depending on what your perception is on it.
Yep. If you think, oh yeah, like right now I'm sitting at a kitchen table. Some people think that are perceived as, oh, that's a place for eating. Right now I'm perceiving it as a place of a desk where I'm talking to you right now. Or I have a kitchen island now. I look at that as, oh, that's a surface for cutting up food or serving up food. I look as a desk or something I can lean on or I can sit on or I can put my daughter on and stuff like that. Instead of like
And
instead
where
of
if you're,
like getting a,
yeah, you go.
instead of like getting another desk in my house, like, oh, that's where I work. I can actually work wherever.
Yeah.
It's perceiving like, oh, I could use a box as a desk, or I could use a box as a fort for with my daughter or something like that.
Yeah.
Instead of you had like we're so used to, oh, I have to get this, I have to get that, I have to get this, I have to get that, I have to accumulate more, but really it's already right there. And a lot of times people just can't see that because the blinders are on or the spotlight's only focused on where they're looking. But if you open things up, there's things will start highlighting, and that's kind of like where I've dove into.
Yeah, that's super, super powerful. Because, like, yeah, you can, you certainly do not need a desk. I've used some goofy things as a desk,
Yeah.
especially when I was living in the van last, like, November and December. It's like wherever you can set this thing. Whereas, like, if you're so stuck in using the kitchen island as a place to serve food, you will never see it as a place that you can work or that you can. Gosh, what else could you even do there? You could do whatever you want there based on
It could
what you
be
choose your
like,
perception to be.
yeah, it could literally, it can be whatever you want it to be. That that just goes along the lines of trying to open people's perception and their lens, cleaning the lens off. Like, it's actually kind of funny, we are both wearing glasses.
Yeah.
We're cleaning the lens off and actually being able to see the world and see what affords us and whatever opportunities or threads that need to be pulled, because we're taught through school, through systems and just society of just like, this is the way that life is and that's what's installed in us, but really it's not. It's a lot bigger than that, like what you were kind of alluding to, that when you started looking at how things were, there's probably more to life than just, oh, go to
Yeah.
school, get a
That's
job,
kind of
do
the little
this. Yeah.
hint nudging at you saying like, hey, you're trapped in here.
Yep.
And that
Yeah.
gets at you
And
enough, and all of a sudden your perception is like
yep.
all over the place. It can
Yeah.
be wherever you want it.
It's the thing is too, a lot of people, and I've been trying to embrace this a little bit more, is like, if I feel that nudge, I pull that thread and that invisible thread and see what unravels from it. A lot of people don't pull that thread, and
because
they're
you
just
don't
like,
know what's at the end of it, but it's there. There's something is pulling, you know?
Yeah.
A rope will not be tugged unless there's something on the other end. If it was just sitting
Exactly.
there, you
And
wouldn't feel it.
And it could be that they're scared of the unknown or the uncertainty of it, because honestly, everything in this world is uncertain. Nothing is given or predictable within the
Yeah.
next second, minute, whatever it is. Anything could happen. So that could be the scary part, or just like how people are raised, how their family household, their socioeconomical status, all that stuff plays into it. And that's why we get so many different perspectives on things. And literally it could be, I like giving an example of what equals 4. Majority of
What?
people are going to say, yeah, what equals 4?
Okay, I can, yeah, 2 plus 2.
Okay, that's the normal answer. What about 6 minus 2?
Yeah, that also equals
10
4.
minus 6. 4 times 1. There's multiple different, it's all about
Yeah.
you could even go even deeper, which is beyond my mental capability. You could do some math equation that still equals 4 that looks
Yeah.
like it's all that.
Yeah.
It's
Or like negative 25 plus 29.
yeah.
You know?
Yep, exactly.
Put myself on
Like,
the spot. That was almost too
yep.
complicating for me.
Exactly.
But it's like,
Exactly. Like that's perspective on that. And that your answer, whenever I ask people, okay, what equals 4? 2 plus 2. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what was installed in us from
and I could see that
yeah.
us having the conversation leading up to it. I was like, oh, okay, well, I see where this is going. I'll play into it and say the 2 plus 2. But like, if somebody asked me that, kind of going back to that like contrarian nature that I mentioned, I would know. I'm like, okay, most people are going to say 2 plus 2, so I'm not going to say 2 plus 2.
Yeah.
I will say anything but that. So it just
Yeah,
goes into
yeah.
that, and I guess that really shows a lot of a person's personality, is how they would respond to that question. Is like, okay, if you say 2 plus 2, I could probably guess like what your days are like. Like maybe that type of person fits more into that box, whereas me thinking like, oh, there's got to be more to life than just this, is outside of this box, and I'm going to answer a different question. And
Yep.
like obviously there's a lot more to personality than just that.
Yeah,
But
obviously, but like, yeah, you can kind of, if you look at somebody and like just talk with them and kind of you can catch a vibe really quick. You can perceive how they walk, talk, and hold themselves. That can kind of help tell a little bit of a story about how they are. Some people are so introverted, like some people are introverted and don't like talking to people. You can perceive that person from a mile away and know that they don't like going outside or anything, or they love everything so structured and so like predictable. And if any sort of unpredictable event happens, things kind of just, they're in shambles. Versus someone like who is just like, okay, I'm gonna just face life, accept it as is, and whatever comes, it comes. Like
Yeah.
you can tell by
Flowing.
someone like that. Yeah.
flowing with that chaotic nature of life, and like chaos not necessarily meaning a negative thing. Like people are like,
Yeah.
oh, my day was chaos today. It's like, no, chaos is not negative thing. It's just the
It
opposite of structured. It's like,
it's whatever you put meaning to. And honestly, everything like whatever I've been writing lately, it's all the information is the same to everybody. It's how we perceive it and how we label it and what meaning we put to it. That's what does
I've,
it. Some people say, like you just said, oh yeah, my day was chaotic. They put the label of
yes.
bad on chaos or hectic or stuff like that. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, but there might be more to it. Like, what made it so chaotic? Like, how can you get better from that? That's my outlook on it and how you can do it. But yeah, I believe that all the information that is present within the world is the same. It's how we perceive it and what label or emotion that we put on it or whatever meaning we put onto it.
Yeah.
That's what does it.
Like two people can have a chaotic day and can genuinely say like, wow, my day was chaotic today. And the other person would say, my day was so chaotic today. You know,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just that perception on it. And I
Yep.
love that you're like, all the information is the same, but people will perceive it differently. I've noticed this a ton. Like I've been reading the Bible pretty much every single morning and I take notes and just put the notes right in the book. And I'm like, okay, next time I read through this section, I guarantee that different things are going to stick out to me because my reality is just a little bit different and I'm going to be seeing things in a different way. But then it also the way that I take notes, I don't know what most people do because I have not really looked into it, but I'll write the verse down and then I'll write my quick note about it so I know this note relates to this specific verse right here, these couple of sentences. So now I know like when I go through, I'll use a different color sticky note the second time around. And I'm like, okay, well, how does this same two sentences prompt my brain to think a completely different idea? And like, that's it straight to what my mind went to when you said like the information will be the same, but people will see that very differently.
Yeah, exactly. Books, textbooks, literature, any kind of text is the same. There's no emotion to it.
Yeah.
We are able to put emotion to it. That's why I hate texting so much. And that's why I try to do that's like yeah, I probably do
Yeah.
have a problem. I'm on my phone too much and I'm trying to like doom scrolling a lot of times or like whenever someone texts me, it's like you can interpret it however way you want. Like it actually it's funny in as I've been with my wife, we've been together coming up on 13 years, and we have this thing called, or not called, but like if any one of us, we text each other and we say K, just the letter K, we
Yeah.
know that between us that we're annoyed or we're pissed off or something along that. But if like someone outside of us texts us the word K, we think that they're mad at us, but really they're just like K. So that's us
Yeah.
putting emotion or a label onto something that is the same information. It's just that's how it perceives, and that's where a lot of
Yeah.
things.
Or
That's
between
where
like a couple who's just dating, they say K and that might be a flirty thing. Like that might get
yeah,
them like excited and they're like, "Oh, she said
yeah,
K."
yeah, exactly. Like that's how it is, and like yeah, for me, like any kind of text or anything like that, it's like we put the meaning to it because it's the same information. It has no emotion. How we perceive things is how reality around us is formed. And yeah,
Yeah, I would love to hear about how you think about that as a writer, saying like wow, text doesn't have much emotion to it, but you write.
yeah, it's kind of counterintuitive
Yeah,
there.
which I agree. I'm also a writer and I also think like, hey, phone calls, voice notes are much better ways of relaying information, but I write
Yeah,
still.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so what I try to do is it's a little unconventional and probably voodoo for some people, but like I have the ideas of like how I want to write or like what I want to throw out in the world. I draft it up and then I have AI usually kind of give me 5 to 10 different iterations. And then I find one that resonates with me and that I feel, and then I'm kind of visioning how I would write to myself. And then I tweak it that way. It's still my voice and I tweak it and how I write to myself. Yeah, I might write to, I don't like focusing on a specific person. And this is kind of what I've been combating with myself so much is like there's you have your ideal client or your ideal avatar that you're trying to sell to or you write to or something like that. And like for me, like that's like niching down is so hard for me to do because I'm trying to write to just somebody. I don't know who.
Yeah, I agree.
Who,
I'm very
whoever,
similar.
yeah, whoever resonates with this, that's fine. If this resonates with me and I'm able to feel something as I'm writing this, perfect. I'm gonna throw it out there. If you don't get it, that's fine. And it took me probably 10 months to get to that point. I was so very analytical of like, oh, I have to follow this framework that I learned from Danco, which is the framework or the ADA
Yeah.
or whatever writing framework is out there as I'm writing. It's like, oh, I
That
have
brings
to
me
follow
back.
this. Yeah, I got to follow this framework where it's all this. And I'm just like, it felt so fake. And it brought me back to like when I was in school where it's just like, sit down, follow along. This is what you have to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm just going to be free with this. And that's what all the greatest writers throughout history have done is just kind of went on the whim and whatever felt or resonated with them in that moment when writing that piece. That's what it was. For me, like I love using AI in writing, not to do the writing for me, but because that's a whole different thing. That's where things start numbing you as a person and neuroplasticity goes down and all that such, but that could be another whole other topic. But I do it where it's like, okay, draft, like here's my draft, give me different iterations, spitball this where I might be missing something in my perception
Yeah,
and where it's like
interesting. Yeah.
different. So I use it as a more of a guiding light so I can find different blips on the radar and be like, oh, this one's actually more bright to me. I'm going to pull on that.
Yeah, I love
So
that.
yeah.
I've done a lot of experimentation with my writing, like what is AI's job in that? What do I have to do differently? And I've written so many articles in so many different ways. Like a couple of them have probably been like 90% AI, and then I pretty much so like it will write it out for me and I'll read the sentence and then I just delete it and then rewrite it in my way. So I've done that before after giving it just a quick like brain dump of like a page of a journal or something like that.
Yep.
And then I've also given it entire articles that I have written out every single word, no AI involved. And then I was like, reformat this so it's in a different order that makes the most logical sense. I've written it all out completely, and I'm like, okay, devil's advocate, like, tear me down. Every idea that is not strengthened up and perfect, just rip me apart. Done that a couple times. So it's like, I've really experimented with AI in so many different ways of my writing, and I still don't quite know where it fits in. The one I've kind of been resonating with two different kinds the most, and I think they're for two different use purposes. But one is like I'll write it 100% on my own, let AI rip me apart, add that on. And that I've noticed I've really enjoyed that for my in-depth creative pieces, exploring new ideas, allowing my creativity to flow. And then for the stuff that like I already know quite well, like I might not be expanding creatively, but I'm just kind of helping people, getting more information out there. I will brain dump everything I know, or if it's like a file of like a course or a PDF I've made, give that all to AI. I'm like, here's every single thing I know about this idea. Now structure it similar to this article. It will do that. And then I've noticed that AI does not get my voice very well at all. And I've tried some things, but I'm okay with that because like you said, it's like the neuroplasticity, like actually doing things. And then you just get that check, like you're actually doing everything. So then usually I do just delete the line, rewrite it, and just let it format it for me. So that's kind of been what's worked for me. But Gosh,
Yeah,
AI plus writing is absolutely like can add it adds that whole layer of like a second or third or an practically infinite, not practically, but almost infinite amount of different perceptions to one piece of writing, because it's like
exactly.
they can challenge you and they can tear you apart and they can reformat it, or they can say like, hey, this is actually wrong, like you were incorrect here, and then
Hmm.
that challenges you to see like, are you right, are you actually right, like a scientist a little bit. And
Yep.
it's just been, not a lot of people would say this, I think, but for me personally, and it sounds like for you too, AI has been the greatest thing ever for writing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think AI is great for a lot of different things. I mean, yeah, its use is for, rudimentary tasks and stuff like that. That's like the
Yep.
greatest thing that has come from it. But when it comes to the creativity side of things, I take the approach of it's allowed me to expand my horizons, my perception on things, and be able to learn things a little bit quicker because it's like, oh, I never thought of that. Let me pull at that and then do that. One thing that I've been doing a little bit more of, instead of actually writing, like typing out, and I'm the worst typer ever, is I actually just use an app that where it's voice text, and I
Oh,
just
I do
literally
that a ton.
I spew like, okay, here's what I'm actually thinking, here's where I want to go with it, blah 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 blah, and then I let it, just like you said, rip it apart, pull at threads. Oh, like here's something that might be actually really cool, and then kind of go down that rabbit hole of things and able to really dive deep into it. Instead, a lot of people who are just going to be lazy and who want the quick fix or something, like, do this for me. That's it. And for me, it's
Yeah.
like I mean, we all start there. Like when ChatGPT came out in 2021, I think it was, when OpenAI started to be like, "Hey, here's ChatGPT." Everyone's like, "Do this for me." Now we've
And
gotten
that's
to
it.
the, yeah, exactly. And that's it. Now we've evolved to, we have so many different models, so different LLMs and stuff like that, where it's just like now we can expand and actually do a lot more creative things, and actually it's unique. And yeah, it might be, it's voodoo to some people, and like everyone wants it to be just either human or AI, but
Yeah.
AI isn't going anywhere. So why not integrate it in our lives and be able to have it mesh where
Yes.
we are the master, and it's at our will. It does what we want it to do, not what we want. We're not doing what it wants us to do.
Yes. And then also remembering it's like AI is never actually going to be a human. No matter how much
No.
you tell it to act like a human or think like a human or write like a human or whatever it's going to be, it's not going to be a human. Like we still get that role. And like it's a gift, not a chore to do the human
Yeah,
things.
exactly. Exactly.
I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, but I do have a question for you that we prompted earlier, so it'll be a little bit of a topic switch. But going back to the anti-fragility a little bit, what wasn't working for you when you were training as an athlete or trying to go to the Olympics and you didn't quite get there? Like, what did you learn from that? What wasn't working for you? So I'll let you sit with that for about a minute and I'll be right back.
All right.
All right. Back. One of the very few downsides of drinking a lot of coffee in the morning.
No, I get that. So what really wasn't working for me back when I graduated college, moved over and started training on my own was my environment completely changed and it wasn't allowing or affording me the opportunity to perform at a high level or train at a high level. Meaning, I was always used to training with teammates or with my team,
Mm,
with a coach, with this high energy environment where it allowed for, positive outlook, going after or something like that. It was me in at a high school in a throwing ring by myself or with my wife recording me. That was it.
yeah.
And it was
Wow.
the environment was completely different. I was training myself, I was training on my own. I wasn't in a weight room with other athletes around me. I was either like at a just a powerlifting gym where they're just meatheads doing their own thing, or I'm at a Lifetime Fitness where you got people who are doing their own thing. And it's just like I'm not, the environment wasn't meant for me to be in a high performing environment, like performing at a high
Yeah.
level. And I never knew that. I didn't think of that
Mm,
at the time. Now looking back at it, like that makes a lot of sense. Like and all I was doing at the time was, oh, I need to lift more. I need to study
mm,
film more. Or I need to drill it this way or get so perfect at this. But really it's like, or emulate or imitate this elite athlete and why they're performing at a high level, blah, 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 all that. But it just, looking back at it, one, my perception of how training was at the time was completely false. And two, my environment wasn't allowing or affording me the opportunity to do that.
yeah. I think back to even I played high school football from well, obviously this wasn't high school, but eighth grade up until my junior year. And then I didn't play my senior year because I wasn't starting and all my friends were a grade ahead of me. So I was like, they all graduated and I was like, all right, I'm done. But even since then, I have never had a workout like a workout in the weight room with the whole football team. Knowing like these are the guys you're playing with, these are the guys that you want to go win with, you know? It's like if sports are such a competitive thing, it's like is training in like an anti-competitive way gonna help you do that where there's nothing competitive about really being in a weight room by yourself and nobody's watching you. You don't have to perform. It's like lifting in a weight room with your teammates or with a coach. You still have to you're performing while you're lifting. But it's like that I noticed every time that I would lift on my own, it felt so different. Like just a complete contrast to working out in the weight room.
Yep, absolutely. And that's because of the environment that you're in. Whatever environment that you're in, it either is going to allow for you to perform a certain way, act a certain way, behave like feel a certain way.
Yeah,
And
it's
a lot of people don't take that into consideration. And that's how it is. And when I looked at the people that were actually like one of my former teammates when I was at Minnesota, he went to the Olympic Training Center in San Diego, California, a little bit after me. Like him and I were good friends. Like he performed well and he got invited over there and he was training with those who were world champs, Olympians all the time. He woke up, trained with them, was in that environment in sunny California. Like that was living the dream for him, and he was in an environment that afforded him or allowed for him to have that opportunity to and allow him to pull out that high performance side of things. For me, like it was, I had to work around a lot of different things, from, going into a high school if I'm allowed there, or like trying to find time after I get done with work, or try to find time and all of that stuff. And like I have all these different factors, and my environment wasn't affording that or like allowing for me to do that.
yeah, definitely. What would you, knowing what you know now, what would you have done back then?
What I would have done is
Because like obviously
Yeah.
it still wasn't
Yeah.
like perfect. You did have to work
Yeah.
around things.
Oh yeah, you still have to work around things. What I would do is instead of being so structured and being having to have like a practice plan, allow for like I had to do this many throws or I had to do this many drills. I'll allow some from a leniency. And whenever it came towards my lifting in my training schedule, it was so down to the T of what I had to do. Now, like later on in my career, when I was like on my way out as a sports performance coach, I was applying these concepts and theories into the weight room of skill acquisition, all that. Doing that in the weight room and allowing for me to be a little bit more dexterous and a little bit more mobile and being able to apply force and power in different angles instead of being so like boxed up
Yeah.
and whatnot. And then when it came towards a coach side of things, it's just like, even though, yeah, I didn't have a full-time coach, I could have found someone who could have helped guide me in certain ways, in direction on certain times of the year on what to kind of work on and stuff like that. But then, yeah,
Yeah. That definitely makes sense. I remember like being in high school football. Our coaches were like, because like some guys who really wanted to play football were worried that like the coaches would get upset or something if they played a different sport or gave their energy somewhere else. And they were like, please do play a different sport. Play a sport in the fall, winter, and the spring if you can. Like if that's what you want, please do because you're doing different things. You're applying your body in different ways. And then especially when you're young, like in high school, you can afford to do two or three different sports and your body will definitely be okay with that. So they were always like, yeah, we want you to use your body in different ways. If you're only practicing for football, like there's definitely something being left out of that.
yeah,
And I mean, especially like just being a strength and conditioning coach for like a high school football team, you don't, you're not really thinking about like the holistic side of movement and getting all of this different kinds of exercises. It's just like, okay, well, you're gonna run some sprints sometimes and you're gonna lift weights sometimes, and that's it.
yeah,
But being able to do different sports is applying yourself in a different ways, and I mean, let alone the neuroplasticity side of things, and applying your brain in different ways too.
yeah,
So that's just a little
absolutely.
tidbit that I thought of. I never played any other sports though.
No, absolutely. No, that's for sure. And that's exactly the case. Like, and there's a lot of literature and research behind doing multiple sports or multiple things, or you could say being more of a generalist than being a
Yeah,
specialist, and specializing too early as a kid when you're trying to focus on one sport and stuff like that, which is hard to change that Titanic of a ship in the
yeah,
US because that's all you're seeing is specialization at a younger age. And that's all
yeah.
they're like, yep, you're only doing this for the rest of your life and that's it. Like,
I've heard. Yeah, it seems
yeah.
like like Texas and California and stuff. They get you in football camps when you're like 4 or 5 years old, whether it's like flag football or tackle football or whatever. And then
Yeah.
there's year round stuff, and then being up here in Minnesota, I have some family. My little brothers and sister are in hockey, and they started learning it when they were. I think they had skating lessons at 3 or 4 years old, and then
Yeah.
hockey lessons start at 5 or 6, and then year-round camps that you got to go to, and you can be in 2 or 3 different programs and stuff. And it's
Yep.
like
Yeah, no,
they do. They're
it's
like, if you want to do this, you have to start now, and then it seems like if you want to get into it when you're in late elementary or middle school, you feel like it's too late because they just start
yeah.
you off so young, and there's this pressure around you. And I love being a role model for my younger siblings whenever I can, of like encouraging them to do different sports and move their bodies in different ways. And they all do, and they all love doing multiple things like gymnastics and lacrosse and football, soccer, like whatever they can get their hands on. And I'm just so grateful for that. But it's really fascinating to see that there was actually some research behind that as well, because that's just kind of a theory that I had being into health in the holistic way that I have been.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, it you hit that right on the head there. Like, yeah, whenever you get into sport at, yeah, even late elementary, middle school, you feel like you're already behind on things. And that's just the mindset is, yeah, you got to do it from a very young age. And honestly that, and you got to do it over and over and over again. Whenever I was a coach at some private facilities, actually specifically whenever I was at a volleyball club, we had girls who were doing high school volleyball in the fall and still coming to the club after they practice with their high school teams. So they are literally away from home from whenever they start school in the morning and don't
Yeah.
get home until like 8 or 9 at night. And these are, and
Gosh.
I had kids, and these are kids who are even 8 years old. Like,
Wow.
and then when it came towards club season, which was in the spring and or like late winter and spring, they were doing either basketball or track or softball, and then going to the club to perform and do tournaments on the weekends and stuff. So it's
Wow.
literally, yeah, it's like so much, and it's just like it's yeah, it's crazy,
And then
and
like,
that's the concept of people thinking that more is better, and that's the perception of things, but really it's less is more. It's just, or be able to see what is already present and what is already there.
yes, it's using that skill of perception to filter out, okay, what is a waste of time? Like what is a distraction? What can I focus on that's right in front of me? And that'll bring you there. Like I joined football in 8th grade and I played and I was pretty good. It's like I didn't need to be in it since I was in like little league. I guess that's baseball. What is it called? I think our program in town was not a national thing, but yeah,
It was
from
like
middle
pee
school
wee
and
football or
stuff.
something, like, yeah.
Pee wee, yeah, there was Pee wee. Ours was called BYAA, but I think that was just a kind of a local program. But it's like, yeah, and I knew friends that were in it since they were that young, since they were able to run around basically. And then I fit right in, and obviously in 8th grade, I didn't know what I know now, and I think about it a lot. Like, wow, if I had the mindset and the knowledge of health and performance, like I could be so much better now. And that is exactly what that skill of perception will get you. And it's like, especially like we've just been talking about, like middle school and high school kids, they don't even know what they like until they're in high school sometimes. I didn't even ever watch a game of football until I was in 7th grade. Like I did not care for it. So how was I ever supposed to join young? And then it's like, I think that's so much pressure of like, you have to get into this young. This goes for so much more than just training as a kid too. It's like, really anything. It's like being a creator. It's like you have to post 2 articles a week and post a podcast every single week. It's like, okay, try that, and I'm going to record a podcast with somebody who I really resonate with, and that's all I'm going to do. And I don't care if it's once a month or less. And I'm going to write an article when I'm feeling inspired to, because I'm going to cut out this fluff, this distraction. I'm going to use my perception to say like, okay, this is what's in front of me. Follow that tug that we talked about earlier. It's like if I'm being pulled to be curious, I'm going to trust that.
Because yeah, no, like as I'm starting to learn a little bit more, the universe, the world is gonna tell you and pull you in the right direction, or pull you in a direction that's like is gonna align with the frequency or the reality that you already have. Whether that is good or bad, that's your perception. But whatever tug you feel that
That
and go with it.
that reminds me of, you said that luck really ties in with perception a little bit, and what you just said reminded me of that. Do you want to just share a little
Yeah.
bit on your perception of luck?
Yeah, so this has been a little bit of a topic, or like something that's popped in my head a few times, because I've felt this and I've said this to myself a few times, like I'm just unlucky. And
I
like,
used to say that as a teenager too. It's
yeah,
like, oh,
like,
looking back, I'm like, oh, why did you do that?
yeah, and like I'm like saying I'm just so unlucky, or like other people just have it, like luck is on their side. They're being able to achieve these different things. Actually, it's funny that my wife's uncle, we have this things like everything works out for him. Like
Yeah.
everything works in his favor. And it's just like, Why is that? Why is that pulling at me? And why is that a topic that I want to like talk about?
Yeah.
Well, there's a book called The Luck Factor, and actually research was done by Richard Wiseman. And basically, what the whole experiment was, I think it was a newspaper or something like that. He had two groups called the lucky group and not lucky group. And he gave them the same paper and they were reading it. And I think on, I could be botching this, but I think on one of the very first pages, there was a big block of text that said, or like the assignment was count how many pictures there are throughout this paper. I think it was a newspaper, I think. And on one of the very first pages, there was a block of text that said, there's this many photos in this paper. You can stop now and tell the instructor. Everyone in the lucky group saw that and did that and read through only 2 pages. The unlucky group went through the entire newspaper and it was counting one by one, and it took them much longer
Yes.
to achieve that, and told the instructor. And came to that I was just like, that was kind of interesting. And I was like, that kind of aligns with my field of, skill acquisition, ecological psychology, and perception action coupling, all that stuff. I was like, okay, now dive a little bit more. And he actually I think he came up with this. I don't think it was him who came up with the formula. I can't remember the name, but there's actually a luck surface area formula I found. And it said that luck equals D times T, which means doing times telling. And it kind of goes both ways. It's if you're doing something, but you're not telling anybody, you're not going to be lucky. You're not going to be able to get whatever you're doing out in the world. And that goes with being a creator. Or if you're telling somebody but not doing anything, that's like quote unquote imposter syndrome. You haven't done shit. Sorry for my language, but you haven't done anything.
Those people got to hear it harshly.
Exactly. Like you're telling somebody, but you don't know what you're doing. Like, but if you're doing and telling people what you're doing, then that your luck surface area grows. I take it a little bit step further and encapsulate it in parentheses, times it by your perception.
Ah, wow. Yep.
So
that's the cherry on top.
Yep. I add that because it's like, okay, whatever you're doing or whatever you are telling is only afforded by what you're perceiving.
Yes.
That is how you increase your luck, by what I believe. And perception, because if it's in, like, I'm actually writing something about how a little bit of luck is a skill a little bit more, because I already wrote an article of like luck isn't a role or something like that, but I'm kind of expanding upon it. But it's basically, I remember that. Two people can go in the same room, or in the coffee shop. One person just literally goes up, buys their coffee, sits down at a table and looks at their phone. Another person will walk in and see that the coffee shop has a special on whatever latte that they have, or matcha or whatever. They order that, they hear a conversation that affords them to, oh, hey, can I talk to you about this or something like that? It might turn into a business deal or something like that, or some type of opportunity. Or you go sit in a corner of this cafe or by the window or whatever spot it is, and it affords you to read there or study or do whatever, open up your laptop, instead of the person who walked in, ordered the same cup of coffee, went in, went on their phone, and just sat there.
Yeah, as they do every day.
Yep.
And nothing changes. It's with you said it was your wife's uncle, right? My uncles joke that about my dad too. They're like, everything just works out for your dad. It's like, and then they've noticed that in me a little bit now too. And they're like, you're just like your dad. And I'm like, well, yeah, it makes sense. I know that I'm a lucky person. Do you know? Like, I don't know. It just comes to look at the personality of people who are lucky, or people who you think things always work out for them. Look at their personality, and I guarantee that you'll find a common thread. Because me and my dad's personality, I can see it. Like, I understand exactly why that we are luckier people. People like you, other creators that I know, like Jack Moses is top of mind. Like, why is he so lucky? Why do things just work out for him? It's like there is a very clear common thread between all of these types of people.
And one thing too, like who take a step. I mean, Jack is. I think he's got on that same level now. But look at Dan Coe. Dan Coe wouldn't be who he is today if he didn't perceive an opportunity and take action and tell people about it.
Yes.
If Yep, if he kept doing the same thing that he was doing, I think he was doing like web design or something along those lines before he started doing that. Like he wouldn't be where he is today.
Yeah,
Like,
which is so funny. It's like,
yeah.
and go ahead, just like the coffee shop example, the web designer is like, well, I'm just gonna keep on making websites for people. I'm just gonna do it. And I think that was back in like 2017 or 2018 for Dan. I don't know exactly. I don't remember anymore. But and now it's like, okay, well, I've made 4 or 5 websites with AI in about half an hour, and then I can just edit it by saying, AI, fix this for me, and they do it right away.
Yep.
But the guy who's a web designer, but who sees themselves as lucky, will go the Dan Coe path or have that type of opportunity behind them.
Yeah, for sure. No, that and whatever they uh, accumulate along the side. I don't think accumulating, but more of like they're embodying or what is emerging from skill that comes from those paths that they take. That's what makes them who they are, and that's what makes them lucky.
Yeah. Like, of course, the person who has done, I don't need to make an example out of this. I'll use you. Of course, the person who has went to 2 different schools, coached a bunch of different teams in a bunch of different types of sports in a bunch of different places, and now who is on a creator path. Of course, you are more lucky than the person who's worked one job since they graduated high school.
Yeah, no, for sure. Even though like some may say my path right now is not lucky, which I can give to that a little bit, but
Perception, again.
it's perception. It's perception. Obviously, it's for that because then it's like I'm just. It's all about that perception, and that's how your reality can be bent in your favor or against you. That's how it is. If you are just wallowing in the self-loathing or self-deprecation, which I do from time to time. I'm not perfect, but
Yep.
like if you just wallow in that and that's your perception and that's your label on things, then the world around you is going to be that. That frequency is gonna always resonate. And reality around you is gonna look pretty shitty. But if you think that you're lucky and you're embodying it and you have that perspective of, hey, no, like if there's a little bit of a formula or like if it makes sense, if I'm doing this and I believe in this, it's going to happen. When?
Yeah, certainly.
Don't know. But
This
yeah,
came up on
that's
a podcast last week with Jacob Lowe. Like what you just said, it's going to happen when, I don't know, but you know it's going to. Like if it is inevitable, why does it matter when? You know it's going to happen. Just keep
there's
going toward
there's
that.
yeah, no, and funny enough, I actually talked with a couple people and they've said inevitable many different times. And I'm
Wow.
a big nerd. I love Marvel.
Yep.
And I actually have a
The
Thanos
Thanos
cuff,
cup.
and it
Yeah.
actually says, "I am inevitable."
Oh, it does. Yeah.
Yep. So I that's my favorite cup by far, and it's like it's kind of like a subtle reminder. It's like it's gonna happen. It's inevitable. It's just you gotta trust it, and you gotta perceive it. And even though, and that's kind of where a lot of people turn is like when they're in the discomfort and they're feeling that they turn away and they go back to whatever frequency that they resonate with before. Actually, now that you speak of Jacob Lowe, he actually kind of recommended the book Outsmarting Reality by Neuro Knowledge, which talks about resonating with frequency and it's kind of big time kind of helped with this perception thing for me because actually there's a chapter in there about perception. I was like, this makes sense. I'm
That's
on to
awesome.
something here with this. So it's like, it's kind of funny, but yeah.
Yeah. Think just another little tidbit on the perception thing is experiencing those, like, I don't even want to use the word negative, but I'll just use it because it's easier. Those negative emotions like imposter syndrome, or like, oh, like this is not going to work out, or I am not good enough, or even just having a bad day in general. It's like you can perceive that as like, I am depressed, or I am not worthy, or I am not good enough. Or you can say like, hey, this morning I'm just not feeling good enough. I don't feel like I'm super clear right now. It's like not applying those things to yourself and to your identity, and rather you are you experiencing those things. Then it's like, that's going to work wonders for your perception, because if you're telling yourself that you're not good enough, maybe that's going to show up, and maybe you're not actually going to be good enough. Maybe there's some truth there. But if you just saying like, hey, I'm just kind of feeling this morning, I'm just feeling a little bit off, not attaching. That's why I didn't want to use the word negative, because
Yeah.
these are not negative things. Usually they're reminders, but also it goes back to, gosh, a really loud truck just drove by. Hopefully that didn't show up. If you are attributing that as negative, maybe it's going to be negative. And
Yep.
it made me lost my train of thought. I was really excited
Nope.
for those next couple words I was going to say,
It's all
but
good.
I
It's all
got it
good.
across.
Yeah. No, and to your point, when people think about imposter syndrome, they always that we have that label of it's negative. It's a bad thing to have. But here's how I think of it. Everybody starts out as an imposter. You find someone that you resonate with and you
Yeah,
copy them. And
I
the
remember
more
what I
that
was going to say now.
and you I always call it imitate to innovate, because you got to imitate somebody or imitate someone who has done it well. And as you do it more, you add a little bit more of you of like what has worked. And then that's when you're going to be able to find your own identity.
Yeah.
Also, to your other point of where you're saying, oh, yeah, I'm just not feeling it today. Some people might say that they have this bar of like how they have to perform on a daily level. Like, this is your level of 100%. I'm giving this much every single day. But what if you can only give this much today? That is still 100%. If you can only give this much today, that is still 100%. If I can
Yes.
give more this day,
It's relative.
that is, yeah, it's relative. So like instead of it being like this and it's like, oh, I only gave it 25% today. Well, that 25%, if you can only give that and you give that, that's 100%.
If that's your best. Yeah.
If that's your best,
There's
that's
a,
100%.
this quote that was just in my head for the longest time a few months ago was like, everybody's just doing the best they can. It's like, there's a lot to that. It just, what you just said prompted that again. But it's like, and this was kind of like just a more spiritual like kind of framework I had, but it's like, hey, this person who is stressful or who may be projecting a lot of judgment or like negativity onto me, I'm like, you know what, they're just trying to do the best they can. Maybe they're overwhelmed. Like everybody, I don't know, I like to hold that belief that everybody's doing the best they can. So that
Yeah.
way it's like, it makes it easier on me. Maybe they're not doing the best. Maybe they're aware that they are being negative, but like, who cares? Like, I'm just going to hold the belief. And what I was going to say is like, I remember when the truck drove by now and I lost my train of thought. What I was going to say was like, those just not feeling it today, or maybe you're only actually feeling like you can give 25% today. It's like, that's just kind of the chaotic nature of life. It's like, it's not going to be the same every single day. You're not going to have the same emotions every single day. It's just a part of that. And I wrote this down yesterday. It's like, you can either try to shut out or try to not identify with or ignore or suppress or just, yeah, I covered it. You can ignore all of these negative emotions and just try to say like, hey, these are not mine. I'm ignoring these. I just go through life. I'm a happy person. I'm good. I don't worry about any of this. And I think a lot of like spiritual, like woo-woo type of people, including me, used to be that. And it's like, when those negative things then come up, you're gonna struggle. Like you're gonna have a really hard time, because you can't just ignore that these things are feeling and that it gets so difficult, and that's why it comes up worse and worse and worse and worse the more you repress it, because you don't actually know how to deal with it other than just ignoring it or letting it flow. I think a lot of people say, but by just letting it flow and not actually addressing it, you're not letting it flow anywhere. But then, so you could do that, or you can learn to be with these really negative emotions in a not negative way. Well, again, I use the word negative just because it's easy, and I'll have to find a better word to say for that. But you can learn to be with those and feel those
Yeah.
and understand them. And they don't actually become so bad. Like a couple weeks ago, I was just super, super sad, like very disappointed. Something didn't end up working out that I really, really was excited for. And I wasn't mad at anybody. I wasn't mad at life. I wasn't mad at myself. I wasn't worried about any of that. I was just feeling a lot of sadness. And I went for a walk and I was like, gosh, this is just such an interesting feeling. Like this sadness is so fascinating that I can feel this. Like, where am I feeling this right now? I was just feeling it in my heart a little bit. And I was like, gosh, I'm just really sad right now. I don't remember the last time I've been this sad. This is really beautiful. Like, wow, I just get to experience this emotion. And that wasn't letting it flow at all. Now, I'm not perfect. I still get sad and I still get angry sometimes, and it's definitely not a nice experience and like that was, but that was just very pleasant and I was feeling that. And now since then, I haven't been sad or disappointed about that thing that didn't work out. And I'm like, this is just the way life is going. I'm going to feel sad about it because I am sad about it, but I'm okay now.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's dancing with it. It's being able to sit down with it and have a conversation with it. That's really what it is. And that, like you said, that it for those that are just like having that positive outlook, like if something negative comes in, I'm just not going to acknowledge it and let it pass by kind of thing and just kind of weed my way through life that way. And then whenever, it's inevitable, something bad is going to happen or something is going to be thrown in your way, you're going to break like glass and you don't know how to piece yourself together. But if you are able to sit with it and whether that is maybe once in a blue moon, every other time, every time that those come in, like you're going to learn when that does come up or whenever things do come up, you'll be able to at least have a solution for the problem that comes
Yes.
in and whatnot.
And it's not, go ahead.
Yeah, and then to your point of like with you talking about like you feeling this emotion of when something didn't go well, when you felt that, did you pivot from that or did you start like pivot away from that, what you did, or did you take what didn't work and kind of explore it a little bit more?
Yeah. This was more, it's not something that didn't go well necessarily, not something I tried and didn't work. It was just something that I was hoping for would work out. It was, gosh, what was it? If I can even remember now. It was an idea that I had for buying some land, getting a little house on it, and I had found a piece of land. And then we realized that that just wasn't going to work for us. And I had got like, I had just really gotten my hopes up. And then realized like, this is just not going to work for us. But I didn't fight it. I didn't try to find ways that it worked. I didn't try to argue against life, like what was right in front of me. I was like, gosh, that sucks. I'm really sad about that. And I went for a walk and then I was with it for a while.
Yeah, no, that's
And then
that's
I
great.
did want to touch on what you said too. It's like that, like what I just shared, going on that walk and just feeling pleasant in that sadness. That's like best case scenario. That does not happen every single time
Yeah.
and it won't.
Yeah.
But you can work your way up to there just by like there was a couple times when I'm mad and I'm like I need to move my body right now. And I would go downstairs and I would just lift or throw around these weights that I have or do some kettlebell movement where I'm really just pushing and exerting energy. Or I'd go down with just those little like fluffy like dog toy things and I would pick it up and I would just throw it as hard as I possibly can. It's like with a lot of awareness. Like I'm not picking up a glass and throwing it. I'm not shoving stuff on a desk and stuff like that. I'm doing this in a very safe way. And I literally have conscious awareness in this anger. I'm like, okay, I'm angry and I feel like throwing. I'm going to safely go downstairs where I know there's nothing breakable. And I have this gentle dog toy that is going to be okay. It's like, I'm still going to exert this and I'm still going to feel this emotion. And then other times in anger, it's like, okay, I'm going to sit and I'm going to feel the fire. Like, where am I pissed off in my body? Where is that? And I will feel it. And then I will just kind of put my awareness onto it. And it's just really fascinating what anger feels like. Like, it's a really cool feeling. So, even just these little bits of conscious awareness when I've been feeling really, really, really strong emotions, that's kind of the little work that adds up. I wouldn't have been able to go for that walk in sadness and complete peace if I not had those little moments adding up and practicing, because it will not happen immediately.
And that's just you doing it, like
Yeah.
you actually taking the time and finding the opportunity or the affording opportunity to take action to do that because we all start somewhere. It all starts by you just literally going out and doing it like, hey,
Trying.
I'm choosing. Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't hurt to try. That's the thing. A lot of people think that in today's world you have to be perfect at something right
Yeah.
from the get-go.
Like, what if
But
I
no.
fail?
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna fail. Like that's again, that's inevitable. You're gonna
Inevitable.
fail. You're gonna fail many times, but it's all because those people who are lucky, they've done more. They've put it out into the world. They've told people about it, whether that's social media, talking about it, putting it out there. That's that's why they are where they are. Or they've
Yeah.
picked up the phone and called somebody, like business people, or they've went out and signed something. I don't know what it is. Or they went out and like painted something or drew something,
Yeah.
whatever it is. They did that.
It's
It's
like
not.
that process and practice of anti-fragility. It's like you probably won't just have it right off the bat. It's
Yep,
like you're building
exactly.
this up. So it's like no
And
matter
that,
if you want to try something, you're either okay, here are the two outcomes if you want to try something. It's not going to work and you're going to learn and you're going to get better from it, or it's going to work out and that's what you wanted.
yep, yep. Yep. Or
Not
it's
so
the
bad.
perception or it's the perception of, hey, it didn't work out for me. I'm not good at this. I'm going to give up because I wasn't good at it right away. Like there's that too. And I've seen that from time and time again. And I've had that happen to me. I've done it a couple times like, oh, I'm not good at this. I'm just going to give up on it, blah, blah, blah. But more times than not, it's like, okay, I failed at this. What did I learn from it? What did I do good? What can I improve? Blah, 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 all that. And still like improve upon it, iterate, and
Yes.
all that. So
And that's
yeah,
exactly where perception plays into luck.
yeah, and that plays into learning in general. Like that's how we learned it. Like I said in the beginning, everything is a skill, and skill can be trained. Whether, but another topic, another conversation could be how that skill is trained is a completely different thing too. But that's another topic that I could get into. But ultimately, everything is a skill. It can be trained, and it's not. And also, but your perception of that, of how everything you were raised and all that stuff, plays a huge part into that.
Yes, will affect directly how that goes. That's a great way to end it off. I love it right there. Where can people find you if they want to connect or go deeper into your work?
So you can look me up at my website, which is thesamelsner.com, which I have my offering of one-on-one mentorship where I work with you one-on-one for 90 days of basically me working with you on training your perception.
Powerful.
Can find me on Substack, Sam Elsner, or my publication, which is called Resonance. It's
Yeah.
gone through a couple different iterations of names, but I've landed on Resonance because it resonated with
Awesome.
me.
Yeah. I'll link
Or you
all of
could,
this.
yeah. And then find me on Instagram, sam.elsner, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Sam Elsner 0, I think it is. But yeah,
Cool. Yeah, I'll have all that link. You could just message me whatever you want me to link, and I will make sure that's there for you. But thank you for
Right.
coming on. This was a absolutely wonderful time. I had a lot of fun, and I think I also learned a lot too, and got to expand on some things that I've been thinking and been doing out a little bit, but now I have words to put to it. So I might listen back to this one pretty soon.
No, I appreciate it. And yeah, no, it's an honor to be on this.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we'll keep in touch. Thank you.
Yep, for sure.